Hello and welcome in, all you O-Niners, PCHers, junior private detectives, sleepover buddies, mayors of counties but not cities, well, we'll see, and anybody that is suffering from an extremely awful home environment to Life on Mars, the Veronica Mars Rewatch podcast where we go through episode by episode. I'm Brenton.
I'm Emily.
And we're here to talk about season 2, episode 7, Nobody Puts Baby in a Corner. And did you know, according to Wikipedia, this is referring to a famous line spoken by the character Johnny, Patrick Swayze, in the 1987 coming-of-age romantic drama Dirty Dancing?
You know, as a dancer and a former ballerina, I can say, never seen Dirty Dancing.
Have you never?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I watched it like a million times, like so many times that like it's bad, like more than Grease.
Oh, okay.
And if you knew my mother, you would know that number is astronomical.
That's the one. I know my sister watched it a lot. But
There's
for
a botched abortion.
Mm-hmm.
Her dad's a doctor, though.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird because it's still like, look, she still has to be rescued because she's still property.
Right.
It's like she doesn't gain courage, someone forces her to.
Uh-huh.
Which I guess is kind of more realistic, but also like less empowering.
Totally. It's the avenue of movies where it's like, this person fighting for me is what is the end goal.
Yeah, it's like when I think of a really toxic relationship, I think of the Twilight series.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's literally the entire second book is Bella just like pining and like the whole idea is that the vampire left because he loved her so much.
Right. Which is the worst concept in all of fiction.
So it's like that idea that like it's like if the boys chase you and they pull your hair, it means they like you. No, it means they're bullies.
Yeah. And it means that he couldn't step up to the plate, but he does at the end.
Yeah.
It's
And
the only movie I've seen.
The last one?
No, the second one.
Oh, the second one's the best one because I wanted. So if you know. The Twilight series came out when I was right in that good spot for fan fiction, which is what that series is.
Yeah.
It's like fan fiction on a fake story.
I think it was freshman year. I remember someone having a book, but I don't remember. It wasn't the thing that it was until a couple years later. So I don't know. Did you start reading it in middle school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I read it too young, very impressionable.
Gotcha.
And I had friends, we'd go at midnight, like the Harry Potter series, and get the books, and then we'd stay up all night reading.
Yep, there you go.
And I was the fastest reader, so I just had to tell them if anything bad was coming. It was a lot of fun.
Ooh, watch out for this
My
one.
friend Emily, we would do it at her house. She is a librarian now. And I'm
That's really fun.
She was made for that job.
I know, that's amazing.
She's amazing. But yeah, we used to.
Shout out to librarians and my aunt.
Exactly. We love my aunt. I have a couple aunts that are librarians. We have the bookkeepers, if you will.
Ah, yes.
They're near and dear to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
If I could do a job and just like not worry about money or like life or anything, like I would fucking just like sit in a library all day. Like I would be a librarian. Like I just want to enable people to get free books.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
That
used bookstore coming in.
Exactly. Yeah, I will. So I try to give books away. I feel like I'd be like, just take it. You've never read it. You just got to read it. Sit down. Just don't take it out of the store.
And at least the thing with libraries now is they can be multifunctional because it's a free place for your people to access internet.
And it's the only place, really, in
and
American
like DVDs and
society
video games.
that doesn't cost you money to exist.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
That is absolutely wild.
But anyway, yes, I loved the werewolf. I wanted her to get with the werewolf because he was warm.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's got to be fucking cold up there in that rainy Washington.
Exactly. And touching the man that's also cold all the time.
Yeah. And he's like always just like, it's like, he's like marble. And I'm like, I don't want to fucking lay on a counter. I want to lay on a blanket.
You know,
who sits in their bathtub when it's not filled with water? Porcelain, not my thing.
Mm-mm. You know, those movies are what they and books are what they are, but at least for that movie launched a lot of good people. They do good. They do. I feel like that's the one series that you can look at that it's like, oh, they all have done like much better things afterwards.
Yeah, but Anna Kendrick refers to it like they were in the trenches.
I'm sure. In the cold and the rain. Yep. Yeah, I don't doubt that.
Yeah. Well, and Robert Pattinson was already a very important character to me at this point, because prior to Twilight,
yes. How could we forget?
He was a dear boy named Cedric Diggory. I thought he was so cute as Cedric, and then by the time Twilight came around, I was like, not my type.
Right.
I'll go for the wolf.
The wolf.
I want the wolf.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe Taylor Lautner hasn't done anything too exciting since then, but
he was in that movie Valentine's Day.
Oh, there you go.
Taylor and Taylor, when he was dating Taylor Swift.
Was Taylor Swift in that too?
I think so.
Okay. I've never seen any of the holiday-themed romantic movies where there's like tons of people, other than Love Actually, but I mean, the holiday isn't in the title, so I don't count it.
I saw Valentine's Day on Valentine's Day.
How fun.
On a date in high school.
Nice.
I wanted to see the wolf man.
That is the Benicio del Toro movie, right?
I was just like, ooh, like out of the things that were playing, this looks significantly more exciting. So, no, it's Valentine's Day. I got us tickets to Valentine's Day. Who am I with now? Not him.
Yep. I do remember that movie got severely trashed, but it could have been a bad fun time, maybe.
Valentine's Day?
No,
the
Wolfman.
Yeah, that's what I assumed. Nothing could be worse than District 9, so from that point forward, I knew.
Ooh, yeah, I don't think there's any cat food eating.
That's to the bar.
Yeah,
that's my barometer, which this episode surpasses. There's no cat food eating.
No, way to go.
We do open on a film. We open on The Big Lebowski.
We do.
Which is a family classic in my household.
Oh, yeah.
When my mother first started dating my stepfather, they used to message each other on MSN Messenger. My mother and I used to fight for the computer to message boys, but she had one and I had many. And the photo, my now stepfather, but at the time, random man on the computer I wasn't allowed to meet because she was worried I'd get too attached. Her words, not mine. It was a photo of the Big Lebowski in his I almost said overalls, in his robe, sitting in front of the toilet. What movie did you see?
It's a different Jeff Bridges movie.
And then the first time I met Jim, my stepfather, I was like, was that a photo of him? Or is that Jeff Bridges?
Right. I know.
And I mean, he really can embody the dude.
He can.
Specifically. I would never say he looks like Jeff Bridges on like a day-to-day basis.
Not if they both shaved, but when they both have like
similar facial hair.
Exactly, yeah. They can definitely pass as each other.
Because the first time I was watching, or not the first time, one of the many times I was watching Stick It, one of my favorite gymnastics movies. My stepfather came in and he was like, "That's the Big Lebowski." And I was like, "No."
Because he's clean shaven in that movie, right?
Yeah. But yes, so Veronica and Duncan are watching The Big Lebowski.
Well, Veronica's watching The Big Lebowski. Duncan is rudely interrupting because he's got teenage hormones that he wants to resolve.
Hey, the first day we spent together, we watched The Big Lebowski.
You didn't see me interrupting a classic scene.
We were wildly hungover.
It is unfair.
You did at one point get the idea that you're like, maybe we could make White Russians, and I was like, I don't want milk and alcohol.
It is a very delicious drink.
You got one at the bowling alley once, I think.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, we're at the bowling alley. I can drink now, and I can order like booze. I'm gonna get a White Russian. This is like classic Big Lebowski stuff.
And I was like, I will have one margarita, please. Don't kiss me. I don't want to be near whatever happens.
Right. I asked for a specific milk. I want 2%.
Cream, no sugar.
Exactly. I'm on a diet, so I need skim milk, please.
Oh my god, the low fat.
Before we actually get into the episode, but did I tell you that we drank like skim milk in our house for like a decade?
Your home growing up? Okay.
Yeah, so like that was the only like milk we had like in
so
the
you
fridge.
drank water that had white food coloring.
So I had no barometer for like what milk like tasted like other than skim milk.
No way.
Yeah,
that is
100%.
the saddest fucking thing I've ever heard. Like I can't digest it anymore, but like even before, because we've gone in and out of periods of time in our family where we've gotten milk in glass jars because we lived near dairies. Well, they still do. We do not.
I was gonna say the dairy's packed up.
Yep. The cows moved. Get it?
Yeah. Oh God. I didn't.
Well, anyway, walked right into that one.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, we would always buy whole milk, like 2% at the
Right.
like whole milk, like we
Mhm.
like the red cap. You always got the red cap.
Yeah.
And then we usually had some form of half and half or cream or something there in case you needed some extra dairy.
This is zhuzh.
Put it in your coffee. Put a little fluff in there. You do what you need.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't think we ever bought
yeah.
low fat.
So I'm probably the one person you'll ever meet that like doesn't mind skim milk. It's like, yeah, whatever.
I used to drink it like if I bought milk in college and I was like going to put it in cereal because I was like, I'm already getting a lot of calories from alcohol.
Yeah. Understandable.
But it was like, I will make up for this in Chasers tonight. But yeah, no. Oh, God. Just
Yeah.
skim milk.
Skim milk.
When I hear skim milk, I just picture like a strainer and then like milk going over it. And it
Oh,
just
and
makes
being,
me
like,
sad.
Being strained.
Yeah. Like a cheese grater of milk.
Yep. No.
But yeah. So they're watching The Big Lebowski. And Duncan's trying to hook up. And Veronica is quoting the movie at him.
Tremendous.
I am so surprised that Jim and I did not watch this show. And I was the perfect age and barometer and relationship for this, but we just didn't have, like, we had it on TV. We just didn't watch it. We just didn't know it was there.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean,
My
Jim
whole family would have loved this show.
Exactly. Jim did not watch it. It was just, it just wasn't like that popular, and it was like current around the time you're speaking of. So like, it hadn't like blown up to a wider extent as a cultural artifact, I bet, at that time.
True.
You know what I mean? So it was just quietly doing its thing with a cult following.
Just like we are.
Exactly.
Our cult.
Yeah.
Welcome to the cult.
Welcome.
It's small but mighty.
Yeah, so, and just sign over all your possessions to us.
No. We're not going to be that kind of cult.
Oh.
We can't go. You can't tell them that.
There's other ways to do this?
Yeah.
I thought that was the only way you did it. That was the way to cult.
Well, we'll think about it. Let's noodle.
Right.
Well, don't sign anything over yet.
Okay.
But then they're getting frisky, and Logan comes home because Duncan invited Logan to live with him last episode.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. So noodled on this a little bit over the day that we watched it. And there's a wider thing going on with this episode of the foundations of Veronica and Duncan maybe not so strong as we thought. And it's like, we know, you and I know they were never strong to begin with in terms of this season. Who knows about their previous relationship? But this is the sign of a man that is checked out relationship wise.
I
think he's just not thinking hard enough. And I don't think this is a relationship that he's invested in.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have picked up that. For me, it's like a literal maybe I just have really low standards for men. But
I'm just thinking, so
I think for me it's he's like, well, my friend needs me and Veronica needs me and it's fine. And I can do both.
Yeah, I mean,
he's not prioritizing her.
No, I think in just a wider microcosm of all of his actions throughout this episode and the season. And I don't think it's conscious. Like, I will say, like, I bet, like, he doesn't quite realize that he's, like, that he was in a vulnerable place over summer with everybody having just a horrible year the year before. And it's like, oh, Veronica, I like this idea of getting back together with Veronica and seeing her. I really like Veronica. But like just not realizing that maybe it's not the same. Because I think when he's like talking about a lot of things, and we've talked throughout this entire season of them just doing like, it's like, do they talk? Are they doing anything together? And I think just this is just like, oh, I didn't really think about the implication that like this is beyond just being like, this is my friend and also your ex. So it's like, he hasn't really come to the realization that it's like, because there's other signs too of like keeping secrets, and it's like I'm not really divulging myself. I'm kind of keeping like myself like 1 foot like to myself, and it just kind of seems.
I don't think he can be vulnerable, but I
No.
also don't think he can be combative. So he gets passive, and I think that's what. Maybe that's like the character arc they chose for him, or like the character trait they chose for him is like passivity. Because he, even when he finds out Veronica's his sister, instead of being like, "You're my sister," he's like, she's not gonna talk to you. And then when they, like, after they hook up and he's like, they have that confrontation at the end of season 1 where he's like, "But I, like, you're my sister and I still love you," or blah, blah, blah. Like, it's so wrong and all that jazz. It's like he had to bottle himself or like hide himself from himself. He wasn't being his true self.
No, and I definitely think that's true. But I feel like the relationship part of that equation too isn't just one-sided on Duncan. I think Veronica is the same way. It feels to me like this is a relationship of like we both know each other, and this was like seemed like we both needed someone at a time, and it's like okay, like I'm glad to have you around, but like.
I don't know, because I don't think Veronica's character she's not wired like that, because she broke up with Logan and then Duncan kind of comes back. Like, it's
right. I don't think it was intentional that way, but I think that's like where they're both at, where it's like, okay, like this is nice.
I mean, good riddance to Duncan. Like, I'm not trying to defend him, because like I would like him to be gone.
No, and I don't think this is a put down necessarily, even though he does make a myriad of missteps in this episode. But it just like it doesn't seem to me like someone that's like invested. Yeah. Either way.
Yeah.
It's like a relationship of convenient or something that is like this sounds really good, but it's like maybe I am still holding a flame for Meg.
Oh yeah. The Meg spark never dies.
Yeah. So
there we go.
Even if he doesn't like realize it.
I accept that. That makes more sense. Okay.
Yes. But to get back to the scene, it is the worst idea to have your friend that is not afraid of confrontation and would love to make you and yours feel awful in any given situation to live with you, who is also then your girlfriend's ex.
Well, and I guess maybe not at that age, because I was like, if one of your friends treated me like that, you would not be living with them.
No, and it would be a little different at that age, but But even then, like you would have a talking to with me, I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess that's the missing piece is because I like when I try to put it in like my brain, I'm like, how would this work? And I'm like, oh, you would know.
Yes.
Veronica, you gotta tell him lay down the law.
Yep. Like this sucks. Like other than just like stopping.
You have the power to change this.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so Logan comes home, and he's like, I'm gonna go to my room with Kendall, the Casablancas' stepmom, who is just such a strangely flat character.
Yeah. As we get to more stuff later, I have an idea of how she could potentially be an interesting character, but this is not it.
Also, they have a 2-bedroom hotel suite.
I know.
I'm like, why?
Just get another room.
Yeah.
You
just get another room. Or share a bed, but like you two pick a lane.
Pick a lane. Or how about this? Rent.
Yeah, get a house. You both could get a house.
Right. They're both 18.
So he goes to hook up with Kendall. Yeah. And then we go back to school, right?
Yes, we do.
And we're back in our future business owners of America, or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, I think it's literally called Future Business Leaders of America.
And
yep.
Veronica and Beaver, or Cassidy, are neck and neck throughout this in their stocks, and Cassidy has just surpassed Veronica on how well his stocks are performing in their in-class contest. Dick Casablancas is now the bottom of the totem pole because he put all of his money in his father's company, which was a house of cards, as we learned.
Yep.
And Logan Eccles is also not doing so hot because his family stock is not doing so hot. Wasn't that what it was?
Yeah, I think so. But
and then Duncan Kane is also doing not so hot because
right.
the Kane software stock is not doing so hot. And I'm like, did they all just fully invest in their own brands?
I think so.
But it's not even real money.
Takedown of nepotism.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh wow, watch all the rich boys lose nothing that matters to them because it's all fake.
Right. It wouldn't be realistic if they actually lost things. But I do enjoy the teacher.
Me too, and I enjoy the Veronicas kicking their butts.
Oh yeah, mm-hmm.
It's important to me.
Even if Beaver took the lead for a short while.
It's fine, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get Woody and Keith on the golf course.
Yes.
Woody in his Tiger Woods outfit.
And he's putting and laugh. I would love to have this much fun playing golf. Like, listen, I've had fun playing golf before, sure, but this man is practically giddy at missing putts. If I could only be this jovial.
One day, when it's safe to be around people, we'll go golfing with like Z and Tanner. Or like some of my friends, like who are people that are like, like someone can take it seriously and someone cannot. And I will just, because I've never golfed before in my life, it'll be a great time.
Totally.
I will get the giggles. I will keep missing. I will get the giggles.
Exactly.
I will never hit a damn thing. We will be stuck there forever.
And it is important to also go with someone's significant other in terms of a male that will understand that, like, yeah, whatever. Like, take as much time as you need.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Golf is a very snooty sport.
I could literally care less what people think of me anymore.
Yes. But you wouldn't have someone like being passive and like passive aggressive of like, we're moving along.
Oh, as in like within our own group?
Yes.
Oh no, I wouldn't talk to them. We don't go places with people like that.
Exactly. I'm just saying that is a golf
quarantine cleanup
to a T. But yes, he's having a great time golfing. He's like, Keith, I'm glad you came down to the golf course, my office as the mayor, and I have a plan to turn Neptune into a city.
Because it's unincorporated.
Oh, yeah.
I know a lot about this after ordering labor law posters.
And as you astutely pointed out, we finally have the answer.
So a sheriff's department is for a county, which is what Lamb is in charge of. And if they make it into a city, then they'll need police. And then Keith could be chief of police.
Mm-hmm. Something that we could have figured out if we had Googled in between episodes, which I did not. But my favorite quote from this was he's talking about how these cities like Santa Barbara and Carmel La Jolla became cities instead of counties. And he's my favorite line of the episode is like, I defy you to find graffiti in Carmel. It can't be done.
That's so funny.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I just love Steve Guttenberg. So
true.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go back to Neptune High.
Mm-hmm.
And Duncan didn't show up for school today. So we're calling him. We're looking for him.
Yeah.
By we, I mean Veronica.
Yeah, looking for love in all the wrong places.
And then we see an out of order sign on the women's bathroom. And
so
we're who's using my office?
I know, I wrote, like, someone put up the signal. It's like
so,
in Lord of the Rings when they light the flames.
What flames?
The flames of Gondor.
Oh, yeah. The big fires.
Yes. Also known as...
Nope.
I only know them as the
big
gun.
Fires on top of the buildings. You gotta get the full description or else I have no idea.
And mountains.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be a shitty job.
What if you accidentally light the mountain?
You're in snow, so hopefully it'd put it out pretty soon.
It's true.
It's a flame avalanche.
So Veronica goes into the bathroom, and who's in there but Logan? He's like, remember how we used to make out in here?
Yeah.
And she's like, what do you want?
I have to ask you for a favor, so I have to say something negative first.
And I'm like, if you want help, you don't get to belittle people. And if
Uh-huh.
someone treats you like that, they are manipulative and bad.
Totally. Bad coping mechanisms on Logan's part.
Mm-hmm. And so Logan's eventually like, I need your help figuring out why the witness for this thing, this murder that I supposedly did on this bridge, like why they came forward and who they are, because like I know for sure that this person isn't them. And she's like, I thought you said you didn't remember anything. And he's like, I lied. And she's like, of course you did. And I'm like, why? Like,
get it on the Eccles family crest.
Yeah. Oops, I lied. It's not what I meant.
No. Well, but it is what I meant. And when I say that I meant it, I meant to cover it up.
And so then Veronica's like, okay, maybe. And they leave the bathroom, and then Duncan grabs her. And she's like, I'll explain what that was. And he's like, I don't really care. And I'm like, really?
Right. He's like, who cares?
Yeah.
I live with the kid.
Yeah, if you guys want to hook up, you can hook up in my hotel room.
Right, exactly.
It's on
Be
me.
safe.
It's a weird relationship they have going on.
Uh-huh.
But you know what
This
that's
is
making me crave? Like, because he lives in a hotel, I'm like, ooh, I want, like, room service chicken tenders.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Room service chicken tenders and fries are, like, nothing else.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Just having fries, room service fries, and breaded chicken.
When we're allowed to do things and it's safe, both.
Yes.
Equally as important.
100%.
I want to go to Disneyland
Mm-hmm.
and
Not surprised.
stay at a Disney hotel.
Uh-huh.
You know, maybe a Paradise Pier because she's fun and she's a little cheaper. But, you know, like,
Yes.
you know, maybe we'll see where we end up. Who knows what the... I don't really... The Disneyland hotel is my least favorite out of the three. Because it just looks like an international hotel.
Right. Mm-hmm. You know, it's the first one. They didn't have a theme.
Disneyland.
What do you mean?
But I want to do that, and then I want to order room service chicken nuggets.
Perfect.
And we can get them in the park, too, but...
Do they deliver to the park?
Well, you know how you can get the things you buy in the park taken to your room? Hot tip for anyone who's traveling to Disney. If you stay at a Disney hotel and you buy stuff, they'll take it to your room for you. It's the best.
So they'll bring the chicken tendies to your spot in line?
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Uh-huh.
I know Katie and I sent food once. Like, we sent, like, leftover...
oh, that's cool.
Not from, like, a restaurant, but, like, snacks. Like, we got, like...
I want my Mickey ice cream bar to go back.
like, baked goods.
Half-eaten ice cream bar.
But, yeah, I want chicken tendies.
That does sound good. We can get chicken tenders.
We could, but they're
And
not
then-
Mickey.
Okay, I see.
But, yeah, we could, I guess,
I understand.
pretend.
We can get a dish and metal covering.
A little tray. Will you wheel it up to the door for me?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay, perfect.
But remove things off our bar cart so I at least have something to wheel.
Perfect. Can't wait. Okay, so Duncan's like, hey, I was going through Meg's shit because I have her computer and I have that flash drive. And I found these documents. She'd been emailing someone at Child Protective Services about this little boy that she babysits and how he's being abused. And she had the notebook, supposedly, and all this shit. And then he's like, we need to find this child and help them. And I'm like, once again, it's kind of like when I watched Pretty Little Liars for the first time. I'm like, does anyone think about telling an adult?
Yeah, no.
Like, Keith could help.
100%. Hey, Dad. Even if Duncan didn't think of it, next one down the road, like, there's potentially a child that we need to get to, like, CPS.
Yeah, fast.
No. We understand better. We high schoolers. But yeah, that's the leaps in logic that you have to take for this stuff. Or with teen shows.
So Veronica and Duncan come up with a list of all of the people that Meg babysat for. And Duncan remembered all of them with great detail.
Yes.
And Veronica's like, oh, and he's like, what? She babysat a lot.
And
it's like, But why do you know where it was?
Exactly.
I thought
What
you
were
weren't
you
allowed
doing?
to bring boys over when you babysat. Is that a
that's
rule?
right.
I don't think I ever had that rule.
Supposedly. Media tells me that. I never babysat.
Well, because you're a boy. Interesting.
Yeah, and it was a different reason that I couldn't bring boys over. It was very homophobic households.
Oh, God. But yeah. So they decide to figure out who it is, which little boy.
Mm-hmm.
And so Veronica makes a plan to go to babysit for one of their teachers who teaches sex ed, because that is one of the children that Meg babysat. She is like, oh, Gia's little brother?
No. Did she say that she babysat for the Oh yeah. You're right. Gia's little brother.
And then also this other random family she just calls, and she's like, I'm a babysitter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they all say yes eventually.
Yes.
Which is baffling to me.
Uh-huh. Right. That they're just like, we'll go with it.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
And yeah, so does Veronica babysit for the one family first?
Yes. But real quick, we get a reading of the will. Even though Dick Sr. is not dead, he's just out of the country, where the boys have trust funds set up, because of course, and Dick, always the great person, is just like, yeah, I get money when I'm 21, can't wait, and Kendall gets nothing, and she's upset.
Yeah.
So.
Because, she's got nothing to live off of.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. And so then we go back to school where Veronica's kind of cozying up to Gia and is like talking to her, and they kind of like hit it off with a nice rapport, like making some friends.
Yeah, Veronica makes jokes. Gia tells her she's funny.
Mm-hmm. And her last school did not find her very funny.
No, her last school found her really funny. It's this school that doesn't.
There you
Only
go.
the boys
Sorry.
pay attention to her here.
Yes, which, yeah, that sucks, going to a sexist school.
Mm-hmm.
But, Kristen Ritter, great at being waspy.
Mm-hmm. She's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
She plays one of my favorite Gilmore Girls character who ends up dating Marty and calls him boyfriend.
See, I can't remember. What's her name? I was going to say I can only remember boyfriend.
I can't remember.
Which, testament to that joke.
It's so funny because she just refers to him as boyfriend all the time, and then finally Rory meets boyfriend. She's like, oh god, it's Marty. And if you've seen Gilmore Girls, that tells you a lot, and if you haven't, then I'm sorry, that was a waste of seconds for you.
Yeah,
but pick it up, it's a lot of fun.
Exactly.
You're in quarantine, what else are you doing? And
Yeah,
if
I
you're
know.
not, quarantine yourself, because there's still a fucking pandemic.
Get back inside, turn on Netflix, and start from the top.
Yeah.
When it's called Tom's Hardware or something, isn't it? Instead of Luke Steiner, what's it called?
His dad, it was something like that. Something
The
like
sign
that. Yeah.
originally. Yeah.
So there's his dad's sign.
Yeah. And then we get to babysitting the future senator.
And this family is terrifying. It is
Yes.
exactly what scares me. It afraids me about rich people.
Oh yeah. The Trumps are leaving Barron with Veronica to go to dinner.
Basically, it's like they're like, this child goes, he does this at this time, and he does this at this time, and like the child like does it like all on his own accord of like he reads for 30 minutes and then he does the thing.
It's a certain type of abuse for sure.
It's, as someone who does not thrive in structure, it makes me crazy.
Oh yeah. And it's making the little boy crazy, as evidenced by his picture.
Yeah, and so then he colors and he does his reading, and the only rule Veronica was given is no boys over, because they almost fired Meg because that boyfriend of hers came over.
Mm-hmm. And it's not that there was a rule against boyfriends coming over; they just really don't like Duncan.
That'd be hilarious. It's like, oh, God, you dated him too? Good God.
God, can't you bring someone else over, Meg? Jesus Christ.
Boy's weird. The boy's weird. But then Veronica's on the phone with Duncan telling him that it's going well, and she's got a writing sample and all that, so they can compare it to the notebook that Meg had that is hidden in her house, which they'll have to sneak in to steal eventually. Logan knocks on the window or the door or the back door, and she's like, I thought I told you to come at 10:30, and he's like, oh, I showed up early. And
Right.
She tells him about what she's learned about the man who reported him as the person on the bridge, and all we know is that he's a plastic surgeon.
Yes, an esteemed plastic surgeon.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it trusted? I forget what it is, because then Logan's like, false. like all plastics, no plastic surgeons could possibly be steamed.
Yes, exactly. So then eventually the family comes back. Logan leaves before they get there. Veronica's leaving. They're paying her, and the dad takes her out to the front yard, and he's like, "Don't worry." He's like, if you'd like to babysit for us again, here are all the dates and times, and also, like, if you'd like to come have an affair with me, I'm on my boat from 5 to 11 on Saturdays, or whatever the fuck it was.
Yep, yeah, go smoke a J.
Yeah, we can smoke a J and hook up, and he's like, and then, also, my son drew you this photo, and it's a picture of her decapitated.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, so fun family.
And I'm like, Rich, this is what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, 100%.
Rich white people are scary.
Totally.
They scare me.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait
pen
to
up and
be
rituals.
one. But
and it will be scary.
I'm already scary. It's not that kind of scary. Good
Yeah.
God.
Uh-huh.
It's so weird.
It is extremely strange.
And it's weird. It's like it happens enough that it's like a trope. Like
Totally.
which is strange enough.
Yeah. It's very, in a certain sense, it's very driven people that have no barometer for caring for others.
Mm-hmm. And they have like their boundaries are around like they're able to put like mental blocks around like, oh, this is my this time and this is my affair time, and then I go back to my family time, and then this is the image I'm upholding, and don't you dare make me blur those lines.
Exactly. Everything's regimented.
And I'm like, chaos.
You min-max your life. Yeah.
Yeah. I, on the other hand, cannot. I can't. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Put it in a blender. Make the smoothie.
Oh God, I was like, we're chopping it up? Like, what if it doesn't want to be... Oh God, garbage disposal of my brain. It's
that
really
was
awkward.
The other picture that the kid drew.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So, is the next thing Veronica going to her sleepover?
I have the note of, because you noticed this from the amount of drinks she had on the counter, but Veronica typing her note to Wallace from a breakfast commercial.
Oh, yeah. So she's sitting at the counter eating breakfast, except she's not eating. She's just got a jug of milk, a glass of orange juice, and something else.
In a bowl of cereal.
A bowl of cereal.
Yeah, it's part of a balanced breakfast.
Well, I wouldn't know we ate Cookie Crisp
Actually,
in my house.
I was going to say, the kicker to this would be like a banana next to it, too.
Yeah, and maybe like a don't forget your lunch.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, she types to Wallace of just like, shit's happening. Where are you?
Miss you.
Miss you, Wallace.
I miss you.
Exactly. Dun, 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 dun. Bum, bum. She could have sent it to him because that song was out by this time.
That's what I was gonna say. It was a song. That song was around that time, right?
2003 or 2001.
Where are you?
Exactly.
It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And then we head back over to the Casablancas household, and their mom comes home.
Oh yeah,
Dick
and Beaver's mom comes over.
Who wants nothing to do with the boys.
She's like, see, mommy's here. Here's a lunch. And then she's like, and now, like, I'll sign over your trust, but, like, you can't come live with me because, we're in Europe half the time.
She's saying, like, I don't know if I can sign over the trust. Like, that's a lot of money. Like, what if you blow it all? And then Cassidy is like...
We could live with you.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, no. I'm going to sign over the trust. So, just as worse on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And then Veronica is gonna babysit her teacher's son Albert, who you just know is gonna be in Monster by the name Albert, and the setup to this entire thing.
Yeah. So she brings Albert over, and Albert is not allowed to have ice cream or sugar or candy or anything like that, and he's not allowed to watch TV, and there's so many fucking rules.
Yes.
And so as soon as mom leaves, Albert starts screaming that he wants ice cream and he wants to watch TV. And Duncan, in his redeeming moment, runs over with Rocky Road.
Do we think actually that Duncan wasn't actually going to spend time with Meg, but that he actually is just like, yeah, I love kids. I want to babysit.
Maybe.
Yeah, let me come over, Veronica. Like, unprompted, he's just like, wait, where are you?
Yeah, let me...
You're babysitting?
I love children. Maybe. It would be nice, because, he seems like he'd be a fun babysitter.
Yeah. He would be a fun babysitter. He would let you probably get away with everything.
And he'd probably buy you snacks.
Yeah,
Snacks. Oh, you want room service? Okay.
Yeah. Let's get those chicken nuggets and those fries up here.
He'd buy me my chicken tenders.
Chicken tenders, sorry.
It's okay.
You prefer the tender, not the nugget.
I prefer tenders, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
They're more grown up.
I guess that's...
And, even when I was 10, I was 30.
Some of us hate the... you can't accept that nuggets are equally adult as tenders. They just in more bite-sized packets, or they come in dinosaurs.
But the tenders have, like, a little more crunch to them, usually.
That's true.
I like texture.
I like pterodactyls.
If my nugget's not in a stegosaurus, I don't want it.
I flipped the plate.
This is all pterodactyls and there's no stegosauruses. Where's my T-Rex?
Which is really annoying if I'm throwing a fit about dinner because I'm usually the one that made it.
You are. You're the best.
Yeah, just mean it's like sucks for you because like
you made it and then you threw the fit.
Yeah, I get to play both sides.
Whatever. I mean, as long as you feed me, I don't care.
Right. So we get through the babysitting exchange unfazed, and the teacher comes, picks up her son, and is like, "Oh, I want a date with the sheriff."
And I'm like, "Oh God."
Yep. Good luck with that one. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Thirsty mama.
What?
I don't know. That one popped out, slid under the rug.
Ooh, it was weird.
Yep, that was very weird. Gonna leave it in for austerity, but just know.
I'm a little thirsty mama.
Apparently.
Is that you?
No.
All right. Well.
Yep. Yep. Just trying to say. Yep. That's all right.
So then on. Veronica goes to the sleepover.
The less said, the better. No, not yet.
God.
I know you really want to get there, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Next, she goes to the plastic surgeon.
Oh yeah.
To try and interrogate him, and pretty much he goes, "Hey, Veronica, you aren't uggo, so I can't operate on you."
Yeah, he's like, "You're already perfect as is," and
right.
I'm like, "That's not how you make your money, dude."
No, and that's not like how it works. Like,
no one gets plastic surgery because they're ugly. They get it because sometimes they have some sort of accident that they have to have something reconfigured. Totally. And sometimes they want to change things.
Yeah, they want a certain look that they don't already have. But he's like, no. You aren't uggo, so I know operate.
Yeah, I personally couldn't do it because I don't want to have surgery unless I have to, and I've had enough for a lifetime.
Yeah, exactly. My deviated septum hasn't gotten bad enough, so I should be good.
Yeah, well, and I mean, I don't know why we would change that nose. It's perfect just the way it is.
Oh, thank you. Then we get the return of the Logan voicemail after the visit.
Love that.
Which is great. But Veronica notices that Mr. Mann's sneaking out from his practice and going and driving somewhere.
Yes.
And tails him to a cigar shop. Where she sees him buy cigars and he exit out. Or make an exchange.
Yeah, he buys something in a brown paper bag.
That's how all my cigars come in. My cigars and my 40s.
Do you buy cigars?
Yep.
What do you do with them? Because I've never seen them.
I just store them for safekeeping in case anybody comes over and it's like, I would love a cigar right now. I'm like, well, howdy, I've got a ton for you.
Really?
It's just to be a good host.
Where do you keep them?
In the closet, just in a little case.
Oh. Interesting. So many secrets I didn't know about you.
Yeah, I know.
6 years and still learning?
Yeah, sorry I didn't know that. Sorry I didn't tell you that I've been buying all these cigars.
I was wondering where our money was going.
Yep, cigars.
Cubans.
Yep. Okay. Then we get a small scene where Kendall is tanning by the pool, and Dick comes over and just to be a dick and tell Kendall like, "Hey, you better start acting nice." Well, actually, he gives her a skimpy maid's outfit. Tells her, "Hey, start acting nice so you don't get a dime because my mom signed over our trust funds."
But actually, what's interesting is like it's not even like it's definitely like a Halloween store made costume because it's not even like skimpy in like the lingerie sense. It's just like a short.
He went to Spirit.
Yeah, he literally, it looks like he went to a Halloween store and was like, look, maid costume.
Right, sure. Good enough for a joke. She's going to throw it away anyway.
Yeah. So then she goes to Logan. Is that next or no?
No. We are finally... You missed your chance to hit the nail on the head.
Sleepover! So Veronica goes to Gia's house. And Gia's family is organized to a level that hurts me.
Yes. I also wrote from a classic Bob's Burgers line. This is a shoes off household. Pretend like it's not weird.
I personally am very pro shoes off households because you track in a lot of weird shit.
My household was a shoes off household.
Mine's morally because it's mostly because when we lived in the city, I was like, God knows what's on these shoes.
Yeah.
But the shoes off wouldn't be weird if it wasn't for the like guest space on the shoe rack and the organized closet with the bins that everyone's stuff went into. And Veronica gets there and she puts her shoes away and she notices that there's a lot of other shoes there. So she's like, they must murder their guests. Please tell me they murder their guests.
Murder their guests and take their shoes.
But they don't, because it's a sleepover with all the girls from the school.
Yay, including
Madison Sinclair.
Thank you. I'm like, it starts with an M. And they're dancing and watching Rihanna music videos.
And then sneaking alcohol.
Yeah.
So Veronica sneaks over to past Gia's little brother because she wants to get a handwriting sample and see if he's the child being abused. And she steals a thank you card that he was writing. And we see some weird interactions with the little boy and the parents, but like we really don't hear them, so we don't know. Yeah,
it is very strange because he knocks over water.
The dad's like, "We're gonna have to tell your mom."
Yeah, good times. Woody maybe has some dark stuff going on, and then the mom takes the kid. She sees later that when the mom gets home, they have a talk, and the mom takes the little boy to a back room, and Woody goes to an office
bedroom.
Yeah. And it's all very uncomfortable and strange and would definitely raise my flag of, like, potential abuse.
Yeah, but it could also be like...
Damn, this kid in his water.
Just fucking keeps dropping water on him.
No. This kid's costing us an arm and a leg in water bills.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But during the sleepover... They go outside, they're sneaking some alcohol, they're drinking, and they go in the backyard, and the Casablancas boys show up to play Spin the Bottle.
Yep, and Dick to shout wildly, and Beaver to look like, my brother dragged me along, I'm here, like, this should be fun, right? Exactly. Everybody's excited to see me.
And Veronica leaves.
Yes.
Because she's like, fuck this noise, I'm out.
Yep.
And she gets home.
I was going to say real quick, because we do get a scene... with Logan and Kendall.
Oh.
Yeah. So Kendall is cozying up to Logan and trying to be like, Logan, let's take this to the next step where you give me some of your money. And Logan is being extremely mean, but I mean a little bit justified because she's like trying to like steal his money. But it's still a little uncomfortable how mean he's being.
Well, and it's not like he didn't know what her prerogative was with the boy's father, with the Casablancas boy's father.
Totally. Also, in today's world, Kendall would be thriving. She was 25, quote unquote, as they say, too soon, where she would have access to sugar daddy sites and sugar daddy like dating things, because that's her primary goal, as she says in this scene. So like, no shame on her. Do your thing. If that is your job, do your job. But, like. Yeah. She's just in the wrong time and barking up the wrong trees.
Yeah. It is interesting.
Yeah, it's like, why continue to go after these teens when you can find yourself another Dick Sr.?
Yeah. Yeah. And if I've learned anything from Instagram, it's that sugar daddies are abundant.
Yeah, but there's no Instagram at this time. I don't know if MySpace had a
sugar daddy function.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know.
I know. So
I had my profile on private because not trying to get murdered.
Totally.
But yeah.
There's wrong time, and in a different time, she could potentially be more interesting as like a more direct foil to Veronica, like where she doesn't have to be like so outwardly like evil and conniving. It's just like,
yeah, couldn't she have just been like a fun character who likes to have sex with people and
totally
she wants people to pay for her life?
Yeah,
honestly, who doesn't want that?
Totally. And like if they just written her less as like, ugh, women trying to steal money, these hot women.
It's that gold digger concept.
Yeah. Which sucks. So it's like you ruin a potential fun character. But yeah, Logan kicks her out and she's just like, I'm out of here.
But not until he had planted the seed that you should, if you really want money,
Oh,
you
yeah.
should be trying to get in that other bed in this hotel room because like it's Duncan who's got that Kane software money.
Oh, yeah.
And
They
so
put streaming on the map. They made the town millionaires.
she goes over to Duncan's room and is like, Duncan, well, he's in the shower. And he gets out and sees her sitting naked on his bed.
Right.
And he's like, Duncan, will you put this lotion or whatever on my back?
And we get boing.
Yeah. And then we don't see anything after that. So we don't know what happened.
Yep.
Which is just annoying.
It is. It is extremely annoying.
It's rude.
Stupid.
So then Veronica comes home from the sleepover.
Yes.
And Keith hears her. And he goes, you know, when you leave a sleepover early, I'm supposed to put a trench coat on over my pajamas and come pick you up. And I died.
I died laughing.
I loved it.
That was single-handedly my favorite Keith quote.
Yeah. And Veronica's like, well, I can drive now. And
I just love it.
Yeah. So then she tells Duncan, like, hey, put on your sneaky person clothes. We're going to go break into Meg's house.
Yes. And before that, Keith is like, I thought we had this talk about you not smoking cigarettes because I can smell the cigarette coming off your jacket. And she's like, oh, I went and like used the bathroom at like blah, 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 cigar shop. And he's like, oh, off of this street? She's like, yeah. It's like, oh, that like.
Don't go in there because that used to be a cover for a drug, or it's a cover for a drug cartel, basically.
Yes. And I do have a brief aside about this. Did I ever tell you about I wrote this down, pig outside Carlsbad shop equal remember story. Did I ever tell you about how one of the shops in my town, just like a corner store, like when the pig was out, which is like a little door stop for like the door, that means like they were selling drugs.
If it was so common that you knew this.
Right. I can't I don't know anyone specifically that ever bought drugs out of there, but that was the rumor.
I like
so
that.
I doubt it was real, but that was the story. It's like, oh, there's the pig.
I didn't mean to make you not sound cool, but you know.
No, yeah, I was not cool. I've never said I was cool.
Just, you know, I didn't wanna.
No, you're fine. Yeah, it's all right. I've never been cool.
You're the coolest.
Oh, thank you.
You're cool to me.
Oh, cool. Thank you much.
You're welcome much.
Yes. So before they put on their sneaky clothes, how do they? I'm trying to remember how they make the connection that it's. Oh no, they just go to get the.
They go to get the journal.
Never mind. You're right.
So they go over there and they go to Meg's house while Mom and Dad are at Bible study.
Mm-hmm. And Duncan, luckily, was just at his theater rehearsals, so he came back in his black turtleneck.
His improv outfit, yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's quite special.
Uh-huh.
And they grab the key from under the potted plant because Duncan watched Meg do it all the time, and they sneak into the house and they go into Meg's room and they find the notebook in the vents. And Veronica looks at it against the writing sample and she goes, "This isn't little boys' writing, it's little girls' writing." And you're like, what does that mean?
Honestly, I was like right on board. I'm like, yep, it'd be chicken scratch if it was little boys writing, but that could also
have bad handwriting.
Yes, but I knew what she was getting at. But that's definitely not true. But also, when they find the notebook, while Veronica's analyzing it, we get this scene of like Duncan trying to be sneaky of getting a letter out of there, and he's like, and then he like pockets it.
Other thing in the vent?
Yeah, and I don't know what it was about it.
So not sneaky. It's the lighting.
No, it is 100% the lighting that made it look so cheesy and was just so fucking funny. It was cracking me up.
Yeah, I wrote down sneaky Duncan is real weird.
And he's just like, oh.
And then Veronica looks at a picture of Meg and her sisters on Meg's nightstand, and she's like, what if it was a cover for her sister? And so they go into the little baby sister's room, and they find piles and piles of the notebooks, and then they look in the closet, and they find the child in a hidden cupboard behind the closet.
It is so terrifying, and the girl is like shaking and has whatever the makeup they did on her, so she's got like rings under her eyes. It's terrifying.
She's pale. She's not okay. They're abusing her.
Yeah, it is absolutely awful.
I don't know why that one in particular. Like, why is that child not allowed out of the house?
Right. Maybe they do it as like kids. I don't know. But it's fucked up.
So they go to sneak her out, but Meg's dad comes home and has them get on the ground and, you know, tries to act all scary and calls the sheriff.
Mm-hmm.
Sheriff Lamb comes. He handcuffs Veronica and Duncan, and Veronica's like, hey, They have a cupboard in the closet where they're putting the kid and like all this shit.
Sheriff Lamb is being silent about it.
He's stoic. So he takes them, and then he's like, I'll be back. And so he takes Veronica and Duncan, puts them in the cop car, drives them around the corner, unhandcuffs them, and lets them out.
Well, before then, he goes back into the house. After he handcuffs them and puts them in the car, he goes back into the house, and he walks up, sees the notebooks and the like, opens up the closet, as the dad protests, sees the cupboard, and is like, he's like, you can't, like, you have no right to do this, or something like that. And he's like, yeah, that's something like my dad used to say.
Yeah, or he was like, this isn't what it looks like, something like that.
Yeah, but Sheriff Lamb makes some remark that, like,
he was a child of abuse.
Yeah.
And so he lets Duncan and Veronica free without telling them a single word.
No,
no words.
Just say something.
Yeah, I'll look.
Where's your
into it.
car? Are you parked around here? I mean, suburbs, so it's like, I guess, like, he would know that there's not a lot of crime, but at the same time, like,
just leave him.
And
then Sheriff Lamb drives back in front of the house and sits out front to watch them.
Yep. Because I guess he can't do anything yet.
Yeah, I'm like, can't you get like a search warrant?
Right. I'm wondering if he's waiting on that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I couldn't really quite grab that, but this is the only time we get Lamb doing something
that's
good.
Not bad.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, something before we wrap up the episode here. We skipped over where Duncan and Veronica are leaving for this sneaky mission from the Neptune Grand, and Logan pops out to be like, hey, did, like, Kendall bother you when she was in your room yesterday, Duncan? And he's like, oh, no, she just needed something.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, she needed your money.
Yep. So we get it left in limbo of whether he was not faithful, but it seems like he is faithful, and it's just he's being
dumb.
Yeah, and not just like getting out ahead of it.
Yeah.
Avoidance. It's a disease. You got to work on it.
Yeah, you can't practice avoidance in a healthy relationship.
Oh boy, yeah. Someone who comes from the school.
The school of avoidance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Come from the council of confrontation.
Yes. That's what I like about you.
Thank you.
Head on.
I like your butt.
Oh, cool.
And your big, beautiful brain.
Well, thanks.
You're welcome.
It's bigger I don't know why. Nope.
Well.
Yeah. So, yeah, there you go.
Before we do plugs,
Mm-hmm.
it's your birthday for us tomorrow, and for everyone who listens to this podcast basically like 3 or 4 days ago. It'll be Friday.
Uh-huh.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And now we shall plug.
Yes.
Unless there's anything else you want to add.
Nope.
Okay. You can find me at But Really Though, spelled THO.com. I post coaching content for free. I also do one-on-one coaching sessions. I'm working on a couple different self-paced programs. I also will do one-on-one career coaching sessions. You want to take your shitty job, throw it away, get a new one? Give me a call, an email, a text, and we'll help you out. You can also find me on Instagram. It's But Really Though, but it's BTRLYTHO. Because someone took the other version.
Mm-hmm. We couldn't afford the vowels on Wheel of Fortune.
It's really rough over here, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we also do another podcast called But Really Though, where lately we've been doing Black History we missed in school. And I don't think we'll see how long we do it. I don't think that's changing next episode. But yeah, I mean, formerly of just tall tales and myths and things, but we're keeping it real for the past 3 episodes of on Black History. So, like, real facts, real stories, things that we missed in school and did not know about.
Yes.
And then you can also find me at Pyle Brenton on Twitter. That's Pyle. And you can also find this podcast on Twitter and Facebook at Mars Rewatch. Yep.